Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Past The Barb. Today is Tuesday, December 27th. I'm your host, Adam Bartusek, and we got a little bit of a different one here going on for you. Next to me right now is our only other co-host for the day, and that is Mr. Ryan Pinkalla.
We're running a skeleton crew here tonight. That's what
We are, yeah, we are running a very skeleton crew tonight. It is, it's the holidays. We're right in the middle of the holidays. Everyone's dealing with family stuff. There's weird flight stuff going on. It's just that time of year. So Pink and I are just coming on to hop on. We're going to chat about a few things, and then we're going to do a good old best of episode. I know we're kind of early on still in this podcast, but we're already on episode 10, which is kind of crazy to even think about.
Yeah, I wish the other boys would be here for this one, but fallout from holiday carnage. Not everybody can make it through that stuff. But yeah, I think it's going to be awesome to kind of just recap how this has already gone down a little bit. But we're making it through this thing.
Yeah. So kind of what we're going to do is Pink and I are going to check in, we'll do a little bit of current event sesh, and then towards the end of the episode, we'll end up tuning out. And what I will do is I'm going to pick like 5 to 10 of some of our favorite or funniest conversations from the year. And we will just interject them into the episode. And if you're kind of newer to the podcast, you'll just be able to get caught up on everything. So it'll be nice and easy. But Pink, how was your Christmas? What was going on over in the Pinkalla household over the holidays?
It was good, man. It was busy for sure. That weather kind of threw a wrench in kind of the plans. So we took the whole squad down to Milwaukee. So we had a pretty good rip there. I was like it ended up being like a 6-some-hour drive because of the roads were just an absolute war zone. So we drove down there on Saturday, like in the morning, and had a good party going pretty much all night. And I think we left there at like 5 a.m. and drove back home. So it was just kind of a down and back, but it was good. Like my whole fam showed up and absolute blast. Always a good time getting together.
Do you have a pretty big family, or is it more of like a 10 to 20 personer?
Yeah, it's probably like there's probably about 20 people there, I'd say. Kind of just like one side of my family. And then yeah. So yeah, the kind of Milwaukee squad all showed out.
You can hear your dog in the
Oh,
background.
he's going nuts, man.
Get a new toy for Christmas,
and loud
got
ass
all
squeakers.
the squeaks.
All the squeaks, dude. He already burned out 2 of them.
That's awesome. No,
Yeah.
So dude, that weather was wicked though last week into the weekend. I know you and I were both at Thorn Brothers for the Crappie Chronicles meetup. And kind of that night, that's when me and the lady drove back from Thorn down to New Prague for the first family Christmas, because we just did it that early to avoid Thursday and Friday, which were going to be kind of like the day after tomorrow, basically, in terms of what the roads were going to look like. So, but dude, funny story from that drive back. So I know Waldron texted all of us, or you did actually, when we got back. That was funny. You were like, "Oh my God, nobody knows how to drive."
That was brutal, dude. And honestly, those fans are savages. All the Chronicles fans that still drove through that blizzard just to come hang out, that was sick.
Yeah, no, it was unreal. We're so appreciative to the people that showed up. A lot of them were from within 30 minutes of Thorn Brothers, but like that's still awesome, because it's nice to know that if we have an event there, even if basically the world's falling, and people still show up. But no, we were driving home, and just funny thing that happened. So Waldo and I decided we were going to caravan back from Thorn Brothers. And of course, I look at him and go, "Okay, I'll lead." And he's like, "Well, that's fine. I can lead." I'm like, "Well, then we won't be caravanning, because you're just going to go 80 and I can't keep up with you." Like, I'm not going to go that fast. I have my girlfriend in the car and like a bunch of other stuff. Like, I'm going to take it easy. So he was like, "Okay, cool, I'll follow." And honestly, it was no big deal. Like, the roads weren't that bad Friday. It snowed a lot, but just nothing was really iced or packed down yet. It was pretty clear.
Yeah, it was like still snowing.
Yeah. Yep. So, but we got down by Shakopee, and like once you got to the 169 bridge, basically it started icing up pretty hardcore, and like that second lane was just a war zone. Like, dude, it was not good. So I was just riding in the one right lane, and Waldron was behind me, and we were just driving, and I looked at Alyssa, and I was like, "Where'd Waldo go?" Because all of a sudden, kind of one truck had gone by us. Doing like 85 in the middle of the storm, and I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe he just got sick of me and thought I was gonna exit right here. And then the car behind, I was like, oh no, maybe he's and then the car exited, and I was like, he wouldn't have exited there. And then another car behind me, I was like, oh, maybe that's him. That car exits, and I'm like, he wouldn't have exited there. I'm like, where the hell's Waldron? Like, I see no headlights now anywhere. So I call him. He answers immediately. I'm like, where are you? He's like, oh, dude, I'm caught up like a mile and a half behind you. I'm like, you were literally just 50 yards behind me. Where'd you go? He's like, dude, some idiot who was doing like 80, 85 came around me and then wanted to merge in between you and me. And as he merged right, just kept going. He's just plummeted into the ditch. He's like, it was just a rolling ball of snow. And he was like, yeah, just an idiot. And I was like, okay. He's like, yeah, but that caused me to like slam on my brakes. And like, I had to figure out my whole shit that was going on. And then someone goes around me. It's like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I was not like that night was nuts because like I drove, I mean, there was like almost no traffic the way that I went. But like all the cars that were on, it was just total no rules situation. Like everyone was just giving her because you couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
And then
it was the good old snow where you feel like you are in Star Wars and going through like hyperspace, or god damn it, I'm not calling it right. But like that's what it looks like. You turn your brights on and it's just like stars going by you.
Well, and there's like the road's only supposed to be like 3 lanes wide, but the cars are like 6 cars wide, just driving right down the middle of this thing.
Yeah, they're just like whatever.
Yeah, no, that was rugged. But yeah, I mean, I would almost prefer that over like when we drove down to Milwaukee, everything was just like the snow wasn't bad, but everything was just ice, pure ice.
Yeah, and that's I would have enjoyed that more than like we stayed then at my parents until I think it was Christmas Eve, middle of the day.
Yeah,
and we drove back to her place to go to her family's Christmas. But like that was God, your dog is just going ham on the speaker. Just living his best life.
Yeah.
But that drive back was awful because it was all like you had said, everything had drifted, everybody had driven over it, and it was just caked on the roads.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no good. But it all worked out. Like we didn't have any issues. I mean, there was probably like 100 cars in the ditch between here and like Wisconsin Dells, but we survived. So take that.
Yep, I survived getting around. It was nice. Yeah, so we had 4 different Christmases to go to. And I mean, that's once you sign up for having a significant other, that just doubles. And then the other thing that was funny was Alyssa's family is very small. So like it's nice for me. I just get to hang out with the same group. I kind of figure out who everyone is and everything, but she got to come to a good old wit Christmas, which was like 45 to 50 people.
Oh, so she hadn't even seen these people.
Well, she had met them once before for like an evening briefly.
Yeah.
And then like a bit at Thanksgiving, but a lot of the family wasn't there. So it was like, it was just, she was like, there's so many people here. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty typical. Like,
so is this side of the family getting pretty tuned up at this event or what?
Yeah, that one's a little bit more reserved, to be honest. My dad's side tunes up a little bit more, but that's just because all they do is watch sports and play cards all day. So it's just like the beer's flowing and the wine is flowing in the kitchen with the ladies. So, but it was a good time. It was a good event, or good sequence of events, not necessarily even an event. It was just a good weekend. I am just beat, but came back home today. I picked up the machines for the first.
Where were they at?
So I when we had driven back from filming the first part of the Crappie Chronicles season 3, that night, well, that was when that first mega snowstorm was hitting and like the ice storm and everything. So I was driving back and I called Dane Vaselka, who's a buddy of all of ours, and called him, and he has a huge pole barn about 15 minutes from me in Waverly. Oh, okay. And so I called him and it was like, hey man, is there any way I can park these in there? And I was just going to do it for 2 or 3 days. And then put him in there, and I was about to go pick him up. The dog. And I was about to go pick him up, and I was going to go pick him up.
Hey.
Yeah, God, that squeaker's getting to me. I was doing a good job. But I was going to go pick him up then after that first storm and leave him. That's when we were like, oh, my God, we have another blizzard coming. So he let me keep him there till after Christmas. I got him today. And, hey, they fired up first turn of the key. So I was like, nice, perfect. There we go.
Shout out.
So shout out Polaris. And now we will be ready to go when we got to go on our second trip here soon. But, yeah, all this weather has thrown a lot of loopholes into our plans. Be a lot of adaptations happening.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are scraping to just get out on the ice right now because it's pretty brutal, honestly. I mean, I think now things are firmed up, though. It's not so slushy and ridiculous, but it's not great.
Yeah, I know Griff was out guiding quite a bit lately. He said the bite's really good. So
yeah, he said he was smashing them. So
yeah,
some people are finding them for sure.
That is the good part, but other than that, we're just going to check in on a couple of things here. Other than that, I think we're just going to do a quick run through of, since it is the end of 2022, this will be our last episode of 2022. We're just going to do a little bit of recap of some events that maybe happened in our own personal life or just kind of in the outdoor world or the world in general that we find interesting that we can kind of reflect on. Pink, do you want to lead it off or you want me to lead it off?
I'll fire one up here. Let's see. I was even thinking about this earlier, so I came prepared. But yeah, I mean, I guess one thing that I kind of wanted to throw out there, just in general with, a lot of guys that have been fishing, it's been a couple of years, but this year was, kind of the end of the closure of the Canadian border. And I know a lot of guys were psyched. I'm sure a bunch of guys got back up there this fall. Did some trips, but it looks like as of right now, people are going to be able to go back and fish. And it'll probably be really damn good for a couple of years since there's been barely anybody going there to a lot of these lakes and resorts up there.
Yeah, that opened back up basically at the middle of October, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It was kind of after the usual time frame that everybody goes. So I'm sure the guys that made fall trips up there just smashed.
I'm sure the winter Winnipeg trips and up to what's that falls that at Wollaston Lake and then Wekusko Falls. Yeah, everybody ends up going to those regions. I'm sure there's gonna be a ton of people heading up to Canada to see our friends Jay Siemens and Clayton Schick and Josh McFadden.
Yeah, super good for those resorts up there though. Get people back up there,
Oh, for sure. And I mean, actually, speaking of the resorts, I did see, for people who listen to the podcast and also watch the Chronicles, Geiger said that they are open again to ATV and snowmobiles.
Really? That's awesome.
So they got 12 to 14 inches of ice. They said they won't go out to plow a road until there's 15 everywhere. Okay. But they said it doesn't sound like it's too bad. I think it's kind of packed down. There's still slush pockets, but if you want to go up there, you can definitely get around. So that's good for the Canadians, though. They do need it. The resorts need it. So if there were winter to go somewhere, it is there now because everywhere else has 50 inches of snow and the ice is trashed. So I got a couple things I can bring up. I'll do one quick. I'll probably end up having this or a portion of this in the recap version of the show, but I think it's cool to reflect on. More of a personal thing for Pinkalla and I, actually, but also with the Chronicles is last year, him and I literally spent New Year's and led off the new year hanging with Barstool Sports at the Winter Classic. We've dove into that whole experience kind of on an episode before, so I'll insert a little bit of it into the end of the show, but just kind of crazy to reflect 365 days ago, Pink, and be like, what was going on in our world?
Yeah, that was nuts, man. But yeah, that was New Year's, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, it was literally New Year's. That's how we kicked off last year. That was a crazy way
to kick the year off, man.
Yeah, and then I kicked off the year with that, and then I got COVID.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good back-to-back situation for sure.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, moving on from that, I thought something that was really cool in the tournament bass world, kind of a first that we've ever seen. Wisconsin boy Jay Shakurit breaking the 100-pound mark for smallmouth caught in a tournament or in a bass tournament. I thought that was a very historical and notable event in the outdoor world. It was very fun and cool to watch. I'm sure we're a little biased being from the Midwest and knowing Jay. It was really cool to see. But if you really reflect on stuff that's going to be remembered for a long time, like that's a really big event in the outdoor sports world.
Yeah, no, that was sick. I mean, and the hype was so big, just like around here too, just like locally, everybody was watching, like hanging on every single freaking fish catch of that tournament.
Yeah, just super cool to reflect on that and be like, oh my God, someone actually did it. And then Corey Johnston also broke 100 pounds, but he didn't win.
God, that's just such a fatty tournament. Unreal.
Yeah. Yep. What else you got, Pink?
I mean, I kind of outside of just like general stuff, just some stuff going on kind of in my life that I was kind of going back on was, like I was super hyped with, we got a pretty big group of like buddies that fish around here and do tournaments and stuff. And past couple of years, I mean, you got a bunch that I've been tying hair jigs and stuff, and it's kind of been this like underground thing that they're, I'm giving them to people and stuff like that. But watching guys winning tournaments on that this year was really sick. I mean, I know in the past we got some buddies that have thrown them a lot, but for me, it was super cool to kind of watch a season go down and be like, dishing them to some guys here and there and watching how the state tournament went down and how many guys were throwing them. I was pretty psyched, kind of watching everybody, and it gets me fired up. I mean, it makes me want to keep doing it. So that kind of stuff just gets me riled up, man.
Yeah, we need more special Pinkalla hair jigs. We need to get them sold at Thorn Brothers next year.
I know we got to get them in somewhere. It's time.
We got to get them somewhere so that you don't have to keep just driving to your UPS lady or postal service.
The post office is sick of me, bro.
Yeah, they gotta be. Be. No, that's a good one. Those hair jigs slap, man. It was a lot of fun. I mean, personally for me as well, she never is going to listen to this, but I have to bring up meeting a girl.
Chance.
Yeah, I have to bring up meeting a girl. Otherwise, I'm screwed. But we all know how that goes. So hopefully it goes well. But yeah, I had that happen in the summer. That was pretty cool, pretty nice. But I guess one cool thing that we did talk about on the podcast and does kind of involve her. For the first time for me, I guess in 2022, I got to go on my first vacation unwork related basically since I started my business.
Hell when
we went to California in the fall. So that was cool, just personal wise, just being able to finally go do something and relax for a while. I know my fuse was getting burnt to the end basically at that point in time. Got recharged and back, and basically this podcast started because of that. Because I got home and I was like, all right, now I'm recharged enough that I think I can do this.
Yeah. No, I mean, it looked like you guys had an awesome time, and definitely, one that was probably way overdue for a trip like that, but you got to have it. Everybody's got to do it.
Yeah. You gotta take some time to yourself and rewind and relax. But I mean, in terms of a tournament year for me, it wasn't my best year ever. It was a fine year. It was a good year. Had some good finishes. Griff and I almost won the Minnetonka Classic. But I mean, really, if I'm gonna remember 2022 for anything, and it's kind of, I guess it's a good thing because it's leading me to what I want 2023 to be more like. But 2022 for me was the year of work. I worked a stupid amount in 2022. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to keep working really hard in 23, but it's going to be I'm going to go into 30, I think, more of chasing the dream of everything I want to do rather than kind of shooting what everyone else wants to do.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I swear, when we were just talking about this kind of before, just hey, let's talk about some stuff kind of from the year. It always blows my mind. You start scrolling back through your pictures of all this stuff, and you're like, holy crap, I can't believe that was all this year, right?
Yes,
you're looking at trips you went on, because I swear that I probably did more trips this year than any other year, just as far as fishing stuff and going out on some hunting stuff out west and whatever. I feel like I was really giving her, and can't believe that all fit into 1 year, but it did.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I love it. So you got to start scrolling back, because I swear, like, I was scrolling and I got to the Winter Classic and I was like, really? That was all this year, huh?
Yeah. You're like, huh, son of a bitch.
Nuts. Yeah.
I actually
Crazy.
did do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, it's been a killer year and great time with family, friends, and all the wonderful people who watch this show now. We've rolled into season 3 of the Chronicles, and I guess kind of a cool thing that's gonna just happen right out of the gate. Like, we get to go travel, and like our next 3 or 4 weeks are like destination, like once of a lifetime trips. So I don't think we could be more excited for 23 to get here. Like, the start of this season was fun and it's really cool. And we got some we literally have probably the best episode we've ever filmed coming out soon still.
Yeah, just in the hopper.
But we're so excited for the next few weeks just because, like, we know what the possibilities are. And God, like, that's what keeps you coming back.
Yeah. Well, it's a hell of a way to at least kick the year off, you know?
Oh my God.
Just jump right back into it.
Dude, you know what I just realized, talking about like new things and stuff you don't even realize? This year, I got my first ever brand new boat.
Well, there you go. I mean,
yeah,
how does it get better than that?
Yeah, right. I just, like, I remember picking it up and being like, oh my God, this is sick. But like, yeah, March.
Unreal.
Like, I've had a bass boat forever, but this was my first one where I picked it up from the shop and you were like, oh my God. But like, how crazy is that? Like, that was only 9-10 months ago. And you're like, what?
We were ripping it around on making little whatever.
TikTok we're doing little TikTok videos on Marion.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, the first thing that thing ever did was TikTok videos, and we were freezing out on Marion.
Yeah.
Damn. No, it has been a good year. But I mean, unless you got anything else, Pink, which I really don't. I think we're going to kind of roll into our best of from our first 10 episodes. And next year, don't worry, we're not going to do this every 10 episodes. Next year, we will have a recap of our whole 23 season. And basically, other than that, Pink, you got anything you want to say?
No, man, I think I'm just hyped that we got people that are starting to watch this and this thing's starting to take off. So I think the next year could be really sweet. I mean, we're all hyped that we got this show rolling now. So it's time to keep the foot on the gas and let's make this thing happen.
Yeah, here we go. So now I will be playing our year-end review and some of our favorite conversations. Oh, actually, there is one more thing we need to touch base on. Cody Hahner isn't here to talk about it, but Pink, we must address the elephant in the room, and that is you did not actually win the trivia.
All right. I mean,
we had a listener reach out to us and go, and this is also where I don't know why we trusted Hayes with 0.25.
Okay, first of all, Hayes is the commish. We got fans with beef. It's all fucked, dude.
We had fans reach out and say Hayes did math wrong, which he did.
I knew the fractions were going to be a problem.
I knew the fractions would be a problem, and Hayes did do math wrong, and it should have never went to overtime.
But it did.
It did. But we're not like the NFL. We're going to admit our mistakes, and we're going to say Hahner won the first version of Trivia with Hayes. We will be back in the new year with more Trivia with Hayes. I really hope everybody liked that because I thought it was a very fun and interesting episode. But, yeah, do you have anything you would like to say about that, Pink?
I got nothing I want to say about that.
Okay. Other than that,
I'm coming in swinging on the next one. Everybody better just watch out.
This is the first event on Past The Barb that Ryan Pinkalla has not won. So it was a momentous day going out of 2022. But yeah, now we're going to play our best of. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Please send this podcast to all your friends, family, lovers, enemies. We don't really care. We just need people to listen. So just send it out to everybody you can. We appreciate it. Rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we will see it. Here's your cheesy quote for the day. We will see you in 2023.
Oh, Happy New Year, folks. Happy New Year.
So I found it very funny. There's like this trend that's going on that I've noticed with, if we all know the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix.
Yes. Serial killer, Milwaukee.
People had no idea who he was. Dude, I'm going to put this out there. That guy's on the Mount Rushmore of serial killers. Like, give him some respect.
Yeah, he's like top 3 for sure.
He's like a top 3er, and people didn't even know his name.
I mean,
I know he's a serial killer, but Jesus, like, know who he is. Like, that was
I couldn't believe people didn't know that, because like growing up, I still remember it. My parents kind of told me about it. It was
a Wisconsin legend.
Yeah,
legend in Wisconsin.
Good old Milwaukee.
Yes. And then, no, go ahead.
Well, I just think it's interesting. He kind of had a science aspect to the whole thing. I mean, it wasn't he was just dumping bodies in ditches. I mean, he had the acid going. I mean, it was a whole production.
It was a whole production.
A lot of work. It's a labor intensive. Well, it probably is. I don't know.
Careful where you step.
I mean,
could you move your left shoulder just slightly?
So, yeah, this one.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but you guys know, like, it's to break down like a deer or an elk. Like, it's hard. Like, it's heavy, like, and I'd imagine a human being is, it's
got to be something. It's got to be something.
It can't be easy. So.
No.
I mean, guy was dialed. Not gonna lie.
He had his shit together to get this down.
He did.
But then,
what else do you got, Cody?
Then I was also gonna say, this is the first time in a long time I can actually admit this, and this is gonna take some gumption from me, and it might squeak out of my mouth.
You don't have to say it.
The Packers suck.
There it is.
Yeah, I wanted to open the show with that. I was going to say, and here we are.
Brutal.
I think the Packers.
Brutal.
Terrible.
They're bad. Like, really, really bad, dude.
And they don't seem to be figuring it out either.
There's not even like, normally if they would be on one of these streaks, I'd be like the first guy like banging the drum. Like, I want to bang on the drum all day. I don't want to go to work, whatever. But right now, there ain't even a glimmer of hope in my heart. They are a bottom 10 team. They are
very bad.
They're atrocious. Atrocious.
And I'm not saying the Vikings are any good by any means.
I'm saying the Vikings are easily a top 10 team. But
I mean, they're easily on top of the division right now. Holy
they're good, but I don't know if they're great yet. What's nice this year is they're trending upward. But the thing is, you look at the Packers and you're just like, oh my god!
I mean,
it is a train wreck.
It is. It's hard to watch.
You're watching a sitting divorce their hot wife right now, basically.
I mean, at least Tom Brady's sucking too. I mean, that's all I can ask for.
You do have that.
That's all I can ask for.
But I will say, how would it feel to be a Chicago fan right now in the year that the Packers are absolutely just garbage?
Yeah,
that they suck even more.
Well, I don't know. They're playing right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at the score. It's actually not a terrible day to be Chicago. They're up 23-14 on the Patriots.
I was gonna say I
in Gillette, so not a terrible day to be a Bears fan.
No, not bad.
We're missing Bill Burr right now. I'm very, very upset about that.
All right, go ahead, Will.
No, I'm just trying to Jeffrey Dahmer. We kind of what were we talking
coming
about
back.
I don't know where we left off.
Yeah, we talk about Jeffrey Dahmer, but here we are with a muskie mount like behind me, and then like dead animals like surrounding us. We're like, what a sicko! What a human being!
He took it one step too far. He probably had been a heck of a hunter, dude. I mean, he probably would have really been good.
I mean, I'd go as far as to say that he was.
He actually was really good.
If you want to cross that line, Will, like,
I mean, dude, he's got quite.
You could have your place up there.
He had quite the trophy collection.
You got Ed Gein, Jeffrey Dahmer, Will Stolski. Think of that.
I mean, I haven't harvested a human, But
yeah,
you know, I like the Zodiac Killer. That one's my favorite.
That was a solid one.
that's just so intricate though. Like
he never got caught, you know. And have you guys seen Zodiac the movie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's an awesome movie, and it's like he because he was always changing his like he wasn't patternable. Not that Dahmer kind of was, I guess, but yeah, he never got squeezed. So
I got a real quick one before we change subjects.
Yeah,
but there was the serial killer called the Smiley Face Killer, and they believe it's a woman who had was out for men, whatever, and she would go into bars, drug men, take them back, and then death by water. Well, back when we were at Stevens Point,
yes,
a good buddy of mine from Wausau West he was out at the bar one night and he came back. He's like, dude, you're not going to believe what happened to me. And I'm like, what? He's like, I went to the bar, I was playing pool, and all of a sudden I forgot everything that was going on. And the next thing I woke up, and you know those bridge pilings or those little concrete pilings at the dam in Stevens Point?
Yep, on the point flowage.
Yep.
He
was laying out in one of those.
Dude, I swear to God, I remember hearing about this.
Dude, so to go off
laying, and there was a smiley face spray painted on the dam. Luckily for him, he's a rock climber. He trudged through the ice and snow, swam across,
and it was winter.
Scaled across, walked 1.5 miles out to the highway. Luckily, a patrol officer found him passed out in the highway, picked him up, and he's like, what happened? He's like, I think I was drugged. And they found the video camera of someone with a hood on, putting this person out on the island, him, and to let him die.
That's crazy.
Unreal.
Crazy.
Dude,
crazy.
I'm leading off strong here. So I got names for all these. I'm calling this one Danny Decals. And we all know this guy. He makes his way around. So this is the guy that he has a full vehicle wrap, but it only covers the back driver's side window of his rusted out Suburban.
Yes.
And he does it on the driver's side so that when you pass him on the highway, you can see that he buys Bagley crankbaits.
Yeah.
And that to me might be the worst of all time, because he doesn't even have any fishing stories. If you actually get to talk to this guy at the ramp, he tells you about his nephew Jake, who caught a 5-pounder at that lake in 1997, and he's been throwing the same wacky word setup for his whole life. It's without fail too, and it's the same type of vehicle. I don't know why these guys always pick that.
It is.
Yeah, I know you've seen it. I guarantee you've seen this guy.
Yep.
That was perfect. You explained it perfectly, Pinkalla.
Yeah.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
You've seen it, and it's a maroon
Suburban. It's always a maroon Suburban.
Yeah.
We call them Randys. They're all Randys.
Yeah. And it's so funny, dude, because that is definitely one that crosses state lines. It's everywhere.
He's everywhere.
I don't care where you're fishing. There's a guy and he is just stickered up to the max.
And it's only on the window.
Yeah, and it's why are you giving out what did these brands give you? Nothing, dude. I go incognito. I don't want people to be able to recognize my truck, I don't want extra attention. It's this guy rolls up and he's got a Minn Kota sticker that's 3x2, what is that? And I can say this too. When I first started fishing when I was 15, 16 years old, I had a little Lund Rebel, and I threw some decals on there. I thought it was pretty cool, but I wasn't 50 years old,
Right.
I just thought it was cool at the time. So I mean, I guess I kind of get it, but yeah, maroon Suburban never fails.
Once you see the maroon Suburban and it's got competing companies stickers right next to each other, that's when you know.
Well, there's also plus or minus 350 stickers on this window.
Yes. Yeah.
And then sticker over top of sticker that's flaking off. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Pink. That's a good one. I will go now with round 1, pick 3. A lot of great options out there, but and I'm actually going to go to the ice fishing world, and might get a little bit of flack about this, especially when this first episode is going to come out. But they're early ice Red Lake walleye experts. They are my round 1, pick 3. The people who devote their whole ice season to 2 weeks on Red Lake, and they tell you all about how they have their favorite spot. They drag up their permie, and that's the other thing. It's not even really early ice. They technically drag up like their permie when there's 8 to 11 inches of ice. But
you're talking about the guys that when you can first get a wheelhouse out on. Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking like you can first walk out on?
No. Not first walking guys. Because those it's the people who it's not the people who like go up there and they're like, okay, it's the first fishable ice. I'm gonna go drill a few holes, catch a few walleyes, have a little bit of fun. Whatever. It's the people who have the permanence that are like, I am dialed on Red Lake. And we've all ran into them. You know exactly what I'm talking about. They go there every single year. They keep their house there until about Christmas, and then you never hear from them the rest of the year. Or they go back up to Red, and then they say the bite's slow because there's 3.5 feet of ice on an 8-foot deep lake.
Is this the same guy that when they go out, they're just like they want to tell you that they went out of JRs?
Yeah, they got the
just
fry.
So you know, we went out of JRs.
And we had a great fry. I think it's a good. I think it's a good pick, Adam. Is it a first round pick? I don't think so. I think you could have held that until the 4th round, probably. But
okay, here comes the shade.
It was a good pick. I get it, and it's a good pick. But
I'm playing the crowd for the time of the year because we all know exactly when this is going to be coming out, and everybody will be thinking it, not just me.
He doesn't have a deep roster, so it's fine.
It's fair.
I got some deep ones. I know Cody isn't going to take a few of my others too, so I'm happy.
It's a good pick. It's a good pick. Everybody knows that guy. And you kind of hope that guy invites you up, because I don't want to set up a wheelhouse. I like going to them when they're set up, holes are drilled, it's warm, beer's cold. I like that. No,
exactly. All right, Cody, you can lead us off. You got back to back. You're at the end of the snake draft.
Perfect.
So
perfect.
round 1, pick 4. What are you taking?
Round 1. So I'm trying to pick which one I go for first, but I'm gonna say, and this goes. It could be. I'm gonna use the word co-angler as could be a tournament co-angler or a person that you are fishing with, as like a person that's in the boat. Can I do that? Is that allowed?
Generally?
Just generally, someone who's in the boat.
It depends how you use this, but okay.
Go ahead.
We will determine how broad this is and see if you take others away from us. Dial it in here.
Why aren't we catching anything?
Why aren't we catching anything, guy?
That guy. It could be, and if you're a tournament angler, especially like where you have a co-angler that you're fishing against, like basically against, or who is fishing for themselves in the boat. Why aren't we catching anything after about an hour of fishing is absolutely straddling. Just whatever it is, just sends a nerve up my spine. Or whether you're guiding someone, why aren't we catching anything? You're like, well, I can see him.
Yeah,
that is hilarious to me.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I've gotten that a lot when guiding the question, like, is this a good spot? Like, it's like, nope, been fishing it for years, haven't caught one here yet, but honestly, God, I think today might be the day.
You didn't bring me lunch.
Yep.
You get what you get.
I just kind of picked this one out and figured we'd pull it, in the past I've done that for sure. Like, you got to fill some time if you got 8 hours, but generally speaking, yes, it's a good spot. I wouldn't be here if I didn't think there was fish here.
Yeah, that one always stuck with me, or at least struck a chord with me, especially if you're like, say you're like guiding or fishing like a high stress tournament where you're trying to focus and bear down, and the person in the back of the boat is like nagging at you all day long. Yeah. That's a tough one. It's a tough one to deal with. We should move. We should move.
Like, we should fish over there. Like, I like when clients say that. Like, well, what about like that bank? It's like, well, What about
That's
it?
a closely related friend. Don't go down that road.
There it is. Yeah, get a
Yep.
good look at it because we're not fishing it. You can foot and a half deep and covered in weeds. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
great.
Yeah, and that's a good it's broad, but it's good because it applies to like you said,
Mhm.
pretty much anybody that could be in your boat, whether it's a co-angler, client, even a buddy. Like everybody's got buddies.
Yeah.
Cody.
So then you get another pick, Cody. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your round 2 pick one?
My round 2 pick one are the guys with Barstool Biology. And this goes out to a lot of the Midwestern anglers, especially the people who say that either A, muskies are eating all the walleyes, or B, smallmouth are the issue to the entire ecosystem's issues that are going on. And I will kill every single one of these I catch, whether it's legal or not. It is my mission to absolutely genocide this species of fish. And it's hilarious to let them talk sometimes. Hilarious.
What am I naming this? For the graphic, is this the old timer who kills all the bass eating the walleyes?
Barstool Biology is good.
Barstool Biology. Otherwise, you could put like a guy with like a very, a mustache like this next to it or something.
If you are listening on the podcast, Cody looked like someone in the 1940s who was somewhat popular in Germany.
Yeah, one of those guys.
Popular.
Extremely popular.
Where was I wrong?
The man was a young gay boy who came up with art, and he came to the rise of power. I mean, everyone's got a goal. That guy had a goal. He made history. Just ended up being,
on the wrong side of it.
On the wrong side of it, I guess. But yes, Barstool Biology. Those are the guys that kill me. Those are the ones where I shut up and I just listen.
Hell of a public speaker for sure.
Yes. God, he nailed it.
Yeah, he could command a crowd. So Barstool Biologist, that's what will be on the graphic.
Okay.
Barstool Biologist. Got it. I got it.
I think. Is that what you want? I mean,
I also have in parentheses old schooler killing game fish.
There we go.
Yes, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. I need to actually pick mine now. We're going to go down a similar line that Cody went down with his round 1 pick for round 2 pick. We're also going to go with a co-angler. And this is if you have fished the Bassmaster Opens, FLW Tour, or the Toyota Series, you know this man, and you most likely get paired with him in your first one, and you immediately get to experience him. And that is the local. And you go out there and he tells you like, yeah, man, I fished the BFL here last weekend. Tells you all about it and how they were all around fish. And then he's like, yeah, we weighed in 2 for 4 pounds. And you're like, why did we just waste all this time talking about that? Or you're just running down the lake and he's like, caught 15 pounds there 10 years ago. You're like, what? And it's all day long.
All right, so right now we are on basically the eve of the biggest tradition in Wisconsin heritage. That is the Wisconsin Deer Hunting Opener. And that is this weekend. And I got like everybody in the state of Wisconsin, if you hunt or not, knows about this season. Like for families, this is a huge tradition. People get together. Like I don't know very many states where it's like, I guess Minnesota is pretty big with it, but Wisconsin is like big deer.
Yeah, ours is
hunting.
big. Your guys is like state holiday.
Huge.
Like
it's
literally.
like, I mean, people shut down, sports teams shut down, schools shut down for this holiday. It is unbelievable. But I got a super funny email, just a general email that came up, and I'm like, what is this? And the email, for those of you that don't know, there is a small elk herd that they tried to introduce into Wisconsin, which hasn't really taken off. And Ryan, how many is it? Is it like 200 to 300 elk?
Well, I mean, I think it's several hundred at this point. That you're talking like the Clam Lake herd areas. Yeah, it was like a reintroduction, and I mean, it's growing to like a sustainable level, but it's not like they're not like all over the place. It's pretty small.
Like like it's basically, I mean, it's not been like flourishing and taken off. Like these are
It's
still
a slow
very
process for sure.
protected animals. And I got an email that said, "Don't accidentally shoot an elk this hunting season." And it is a deer hunting season. This is from the DNR.
Unreal.
And it was hilarious. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is hilarious. And it's like,
does that picture side by side? Please tell me that picture side by side.
It does. And it says how to identify an elk. Adult elk.
Oh boy.
Adult elk are larger than adult deer. And I'm like,
check that box.
Like, all right.
That helps.
Spot the difference in antlers. Okay. All right. So, and you know, this all sprung from this, it was a hilarious story. This like innocent lady.
Yes.
Last year in the hunting season, I'm going to read this article. It goes, a Makawanago woman has been issued a $6,150 Makawanago
town.
woman. That's the town. Magwanago. There we go. There we go, Magwanago.
Yeah.
Woman has been issued a $6,150 citation for mistakenly killing 2 elk while deer hunting. Not one, but 2.
Just smashing them.
Were they both
smashing them?
Were they both?
And they're
bulls?
both bulls.
Oh, she's like, you ain't even gonna believe this. Look at his buck.
It was hilarious. Yeah. It was hilarious.
Yeah, like, exactly. Pink, you're not gonna believe this. Look at this buck.
He's on like Instagram Live. Like, yo,
so she's
harvest.
Oh my gosh. It's like I read the story and I was just dying thinking of the circumstance of what was going on. So I don't know what her level of expertise in the woods is, but she was hunting with her fiance, which is across their property on this special place. And they're hunting, you know, different spots or whatever. And she sees movement in the brambles. Movement.
Gotta have it.
Fires 2 shots.
Right? You shoot movement.
Fires 2 shots.
Gun safety, right?
You know? She saw antlers. Fires 2 shots, and the deer didn't go down. Picks up her rifle again, aims closely, bears down, shoots a shot. The deer doesn't go down. Shoots another shot. Finally falls. Walks up.
Mowing them down.
There's a spike bull, and I'm looking at the picture. It looks like a pork bull.
Oh my God.
I mean, like the title should have been for this DNR issued. It should have been something like, "Don't mistake elk, deer, or cows while you're out hunting this fall." Like if you don't know animal. It's not even a state animal. Like the difference is, if you don't know the difference between an elk and a deer, an elk is literally at your shoulder blade.
It's also an elk.
It's an elk. Elk. I can only imagine how this conversation went down between these two. Could you imagine?
This is the first time the guy takes her out to the hunting land. He's like, here we go.
Maybe it's
making
not
our
this
tradition.
Way, but my mind just went
muted.
so many different directions. I'm like, she's like, he's probably like sitting there like, you shot 4 times. Did you miss? No, I got 2 of them. You got 2? You got 2? Really? She's like, yeah, they're both bucks. Oh shit, they're both bucks. That's not good. All right. We can handle this. We can handle this. All right. Like, how big are they? Huge. Rolls up. All right.
The size of the cow we drove by in Somerset.
Well, we don't have to like technically like take them in anymore. Like, I'll just throw my tag on that one, I guess. I don't. Rolls up. And he sees 2 gigantic horse-looking figures on the ground, side by side, from a herd that is just finally giving away a tag or 2. and it's been widely criticized for the failure of this elk herd and just slowly making its way, and we just it was hilarious. Absolutely. I mean, she called herself in, she paid the fine, total like had no idea, but oh my god, it was
That's
hilarious.
just so messed up though that there's there's people that wouldn't even know the difference between
like
that.
Oh, I shot a bear. No, that's a black lab.
Yeah. You're like, oh.
Yeah, I mean that is incredible. Like obviously we poke fun at it, and it's like, yes, everybody should go hunting, and we want everybody to get in outdoors, but please just get a little bit of education.
Just know what you're after,
go
man. It's not even the same species.
Like it doesn't even. It's not even on the same dimension. It
blows my mind. That kind of stuff happens every year. You hear
all the time,
like that.
All the time.
Well, Pink, didn't you say you had something similar you wanted to talk about, right, with that elk herd?
Oh well, yeah. I mean, kind of, yeah. So,
and yeah, so he goes off on a random tangent. Then Griff starts going, and we're like 4 or 5 minutes into our seminar, right? And we have like a 1-hour segment.
We haven't even said the title yet.
We haven't even said the
goddamn presentation.
And I like just take over and like purposefully say the name and like go to the bullet points and point at them for the guys. And I watch Pinkalla's brain register, oh my God, there's bullet points for me to talk about.
There's people in front of me right now.
From that moment absolute home run for the next hour. All 4 of us.
Yeah, absolutely crushed it. Like it was really, really good. But just the start was like, probably should have gone over that a little bit before, but I think everybody enjoyed it. So
yeah, we got
sometimes those are the best ones.
So that was great. But anyway, so we finished the seminar. Griff has his it's his daughter's golden birthday. So he's like, bye, and literally just runs out. I look at the guys, and there's people coming over to like take pictures and ask more questions and stuff. And I look at Pink and Waldo, and I'm like, I need food now because it's like 2:30 and I haven't eaten yet. So I go just beeline it over to, there's this little restaurant upstairs from kind of the whole show area where a lot of us eat who are working the show. And it's like the same workers every year. And I go up to the line, and lady looks at me, and they're a little riled up because like it's been busy or whatever. And like Saturday was really busy at the show. It should say that too. It was busier than it was last year by a landslide. It was like pre-COVID busy basically. And I get up there, they're riled up, and the lady's like, hey, it's going to be like a 30-minute wait for food. And I was like, I don't care. I grab like a Coke and some chips and order my food. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go chill and wait for my food to get made. So I go sit down in my seat, and I just hear like a little bit of a chick fight kind of starting. You know how you first hear like the babbles?
Cackling?
Yeah, the cackling. Yeah, that's the best way to say it. You hear the cackling, and I'm like, what's going on? And then I'm sitting next to like Mike Rates and a couple other people from Clam, and we're just minding our own business. And hear the cackling get a bit louder, and the lady who took our orders was super nice. She had this green dreadlock hair, super nice lady, but the lady making food was not very nice. And suddenly all we hear is, you're fired. And it's pointing at the green-haired chick lady. And it's just all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, things are happening. What's happening right now?
My brat.
And this is like in the lobby of the convention center.
Yeah. Lobby of the convention center. And so like the chick's like obviously fired, so she just like slams the shit shut and like goes to leave. And I look at Race and I'm like, my sandwich, no. I'm like, no. And like they leave, and we all look at each other, we're like, wait, what happened? Like, why'd she get fired? She was really pleasant the whole time. So then we're all sitting there, and I tell Rates, I'm like, she got fired. He's like, I don't think she got fired. I think she just left. I'm like, no, she got fired. And literally like main management and a security guard comes back up, goes behind while they're making food to like go pull all the stuff out. And then the cackling starts again, and there's like more yelling. And I'm just sitting there like, can I please just have my barbecue pulled pork sandwich. Like that's
I'm
just
literally dying.
Yeah,
here I'm dying.
This
is the only I need it.
And yeah. So, anyways, then she ends up leaving, and we're all sitting there like, should we just go tell someone like the chick who fired the other chick was the problem, or like what do we do? Like, what do you do in that situation? Like, I think it was a bad call, actually. Bad call, ref. Like, bad call.
You should have done something.
I know. Well, if I would have had a sandwich about 5 minutes before she got fired, I might have. I was very hungry.
Priority. That's fair.
Yeah. So, anyways, that happens. Just blows my mind. And then, so then that Saturday finishes. Sobe has his meetup, and there is just like ungodly amount of people there. I bet. I don't know, Pink. What do you think he pulled? Like 400 people,
at least. I mean, he had a solid 50-person deep line for 2 hours.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So it was really cool to see, like from someone we grew up with, and like literally did all this in the industry with. Really cool to see. So we're there the whole day, and then we go over to the hotel, and we had actually all the guys try our new beer that is finished. So that'll be like being launched this week. And
can you send can you distribute that? Like, could you send some?
I don't think I can mail that.
We'll get you some. We'll
figure something out. Will.
I'm coming home. I'm coming home around Thanksgiving or Christmas. Yeah, I'll be home.
Yeah, around Christmas we'll get some to you. But yeah, so we go to there's a birthday party for Dave Gans. We all hang out and have some drinks, and then it's like 10. And mind you, like
you got to. They ran out of food because we went to go drink beer.
That's right.
We went up to our room
for 20 minutes.
Everything's gone. So they end up ordering us some pizzas.
Yes, they ordered some pizzas. So we hang around there having some drinks, waiting for some pizza to show up. And then it's about 10. Mind you, night before, we're out pretty late. So me and Pink look at each other like, hey, we're going to go over to our buddy's Airbnb.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? We're just going to have a couple drinks, and then we're going to Uber back home. And actually, I mean, that's what we did. Like, we did do that. We went over there, had a few drinks. There was a lot of people there. The Airbnb had a stripper pole and a pool table, and it was a lot of fun. We had a great time.
Didn't suck. I mean, I had a great time.
Yeah. So,
and I feel like there's something else here.
Well, there were some people that had less fun.
There's some people that had a very bad time at about 2:30, but
we're not allowed to talk about that.
Well,
apparently.
But the best, I think the best part of the whole thing, Pink, was at 2:30. You and I ordered Uber back, and we have the most legendary Uber driver of all time drive us back to the hotel.
Yeah, it was unreal. But we did leave a casualty at the Airbnb. But
we did. We left a casualty at the Airbnb, who in the morning sent a group text that just said, "Where am I?"
Oh, genuinely,
those are not my favorite.
You're alive, so, you know. I mean, he was alive and breathing.
That was the best part. He's alive. But so I ordered this Airbnb, and Pink and I jump in. Uber. Order an Uber, not an Airbnb. And Uber gets there. Go hop in. You know.
Well, Bart says the driver's name is Richard, and I'm like, perfect. I was like, hope we can call him Dick. As we're walking to the car, first thing Bart says when we get in the car,
I go, "Hey, Richard." He's like, "Yep." Adam. I'm like, "Yep. Hope I can call you Dick." He's like, "That's my name."
Perfect. And this Uber ride is approximately 8 minutes maximum, right?
Yeah, 8 minutes. Yeah. It was an 8-minute Uber. And Pink, I'll let you take away. You can.
What?
Do you remember exactly how he told?
I remember some of it. I know. As it was occurring, I'm literally looking at Bart, just like, dude, you better be typing this shit down because this is incredible. What's happening right here? And he is. He's like on his phone, just hammering.
Should I just read what my notes say, just straight up, and then we'll try to
lead with that, and then I'll fill in the gaps.
These are just my scrambled notes at 2:30 in the morning trying to remember everything.
Before you get into it,
you have to read them word for word, letter for letter. Like,
okay,
here we go.
Yeah,
Viagra Uber Driver quotes, call the neighbor, has a new girlfriend. He's 69 and girlfriend is 57 with the drive of a teenager, and he has 2 ex-wives.
So he literally
sounds like my future, dude.
This is probably the most quality 8 minutes of my life. This guy,
it's like looking in a crystal ball.
So you know how normally like you're like not sure about like how the Uber ride, like if this is going to be an icebreaker kind of thing or if it's just going to be like dead. We get in and Bart says that one thing. I think the first thing this guy starts talking about, we got 8 solid minutes of just his full sex life from the past 2 months.
He literally, the first line was like, "You guys ever tried that Viagra shit?" I'm like, "No, actually, I haven't." He's like,
yeah, he's like, "Oh yeah, you probably haven't needed that yet." And then he goes into how he just got this new girlfriend, and he's like, "God, I love my life right now," like just going off. And he's talking about how like this chick is just a savage or whatever. And then he goes on the next. He's telling this whole story about the first time he tried Viagra, you know, and he's like. He's like, yeah, dude, if you need some, like, just go tell your doctor you got ED, dude. They'll hook it up like immediately. And so he goes into this whole story about how the first time he had it, like, he's freaking just rocking. What was he saying? He's like, oh shit. He said he couldn't. He's like, you know, you can't finish if you're on Viagra, right? And he's like, I tried so many times. And then he's like,
for
saying
2 hours
for 4 solid, dude. He's like, she just couldn't take it anymore. She's like, I gotta stop. And she's like, aren't we supposed to call the doctor? And he's like, fuck that, call the neighbor. He's like, she didn't like that.
Dude, what a beauty.
Dude, and it just keeps going on and on. And he's talking about how he's been divorced so many times, like all the money he's lost. And then he's like,
my first divorce was $500,000. My second one was $1 million. And me and Pink are looking at each other like, who's this guy hanging out with?
Yeah, no shit. And I'm like, and how much coin do you have? You're like driving Uber still? Ubers. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, he was talking about how he wanted to make like if he hits a certain amount, he makes like $70 extra or something.
Yeah, he's like, I need to hit my bonus tonight. And then he's telling
us what kind of car was he driving?
And he's willing to pay $1 million for a divorce.
Well,
Adam, what kind of car was it?
I want to say it was like a Hyundai or something. Okay, just a typical Uber car.
Yeah. Well, and he's telling us like how he picked up this other guy. He's like he must get into this with everybody that he picks up because he's like, yeah, I picked up this other guy and like he had like 13 divorces. He lost like 23 million, and we're like, what the fuck?
13? Yeah. There's no way.
Mind you, 8-minute Uber.
This is firing. Like I'm dying laughing in the back seat.
Regardless of it, if this is like truth or not, this is just an absolute fabulous like story that he's manufactured. This is amazing.
Here, and Bart gave him a fat ass tip when we got out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that was the best experience of my life.
Dude, it was just out of control. Like, I wish I would have just recorded the whole thing. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but
it was unbelievable. Yeah, we should have. God, I was typing down the notes, and Pink should have thought, "Oh my God, I should just turn my camera on and just hit record," because we would have just played the whole thing straight, and you guys would have just hurled over laughing.
Just an animal.
But that's about exactly what the Uber ride was. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, which was a nice change up from the Uber we took there. Because when we got dropped off at the house, the guy we're just in the middle of the road and he just stopped and we just got out. He's like, this is it. We get out. We hadn't talked to the guy or anything. And we had the address, but you couldn't like see any of the house numbers. And the address was like,
dude, we were in a sketchy,
it was a cracked out neighborhood. First of all, like no streetlights, nothing, like total crack stack houses. And it's like the one we were going to was 114. And the one that we were looking at was 111, but you couldn't see that it wasn't a 4. So we start like walking up to this house and the windows are all like blown out and stuff. We're like, there's no way this is it. We're like literally walking up to the door. And then all of a sudden the music turns on and we're like, oh, it's over there. Like we almost walk into this like blown out drug house.
It's like one of those I Am Legend movie, like the I Am Legend movie where like the person who's a zombie is like looking out from the drapery.
Yeah,
it's just you and your German Shepherd.
And you're like, Jesus.
Like if they wouldn't have turned the music on at that moment, we would have been gunned down in that house.
Yes,
not a question.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure. But no. So, anyways, best Uber ride ever. And next morning, Pink and I wake up and we go get breakfast, and our forgotten soul wandered back in. Never seen someone with more shame on his face. And went up, took a shower, and was good to go. Wouldn't make eye contact or anything. But he made it. He made it. He did great. He rallied harder than anybody I've ever seen in my life. But no, this is an all-timer.
Okay.
This is a good one. It's called the Great Emu War. So, emus being the flightless bird, if you're familiar with an emu. So I'm just going to set the stage a little bit. So this was in the 1930s in Australia.
Real quick, I'm sorry. What's the difference between an emu and an ostrich?
That's a great question, and I don't know because I think they're very similar because ostriches can't fly either, right?
I think they're both just big-ass birds, but they're different birds.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just huge flightless birds. But the emus, they're real sons of bitches, and you'll find out why. So 1932, there's all these farmers in Australia, and a lot of them are veterans of World War I. So the Australian government, after the war, gave all these vets like this farmland in Western Australia. And so 1932, like the Great Depression is going on, like crop harvest has been horrible. These guys are really struggling. And part of it is due to all these emus because they're destroying all of the crops, like the wheat and stuff. So finally, this guy, he like takes it up on himself and he's like, I'm declaring war on the emus. Okay. So the Australian government provides these guys with like 50 machine guns and like unlimited ammunition. Okay? Yes.
Dude, the pictures on this Wikipedia page are unbelievable.
It's absolutely incredible. So the government, they arm these dudes. They're like, okay, just like go after them. So yeah, here it is. They had 10,000 rounds of ammunition. So the first attempt, these guys roll in. They spot 50 emus were sighted. As the birds were out of range, the local settlers attempted to herd the emus into an ambush, but the birds split into small groups and ran, so they're difficult to target. Nevertheless, the first attack, they were able to kill a small number of birds. Later that day, a small flock was encountered, and perhaps a dozen birds were killed. So they're not having a lot of success. So then the next event was on November 4th. They established an ambush point near a local dam. So I assume where these birds are kind of using the water as a resource. There's more than 1,000 emus were spotted heading towards their position.
This time, military
heading towards their position.
This time, the gunners waited until the birds were in close proximity before opening fire. One of the guns jammed after only 12 birds were killed, and the remainder scattered. No more could be shot. No more birds were sighted that day. So
they had 1,000 come in and they killed 12.
They killed 12, and then the rest.
Can you imagine what 970 or whatever flightless birds looks like scurrying away?
So this goes on for a few more days. Like they just can't kill these things. And then this is a quote from one of the like soldiers, we'll call it. He says, the machine gunner's dreams of point blank fire into serried masses of emus were soon dissipated. The emu command had evidently ordered guerrilla tactics, and its unwieldy army soon split up into innumerable small units that made use of the military equipment uneconomic. A crestfallen field force therefore withdrew from the combat area after about a month.
So beautifully written.
Incredibly written, dude. So they could not beat these emus. And then here's basically the final quote from it all. So basically they give up. They can't kill these things. And this guy says, if we had a military division with the bullet carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world. They can face machine guns with the invulnerability of tanks. So the long and short of it is they could not kill these things. I mean, they killed a few hundred, but not 10,000 rounds worth. So the emus won. The Australian army kind of had to surrender to the birds. So
what the Australian army's got just gigantic pussies for this, right? Like, how don't you win this?
I would think that you could probably bomb them. Maybe would be more effective. I mean, if we could modern day, drone strike the shit out of them, just into a big kind of covey of them.
I mean, but kudos to that writer though. Like he made that sound like it was a fucking Gettysburg.
Awesome. Yes, I was pumped when I found this. I was like, "This is my best wiki find to date." So the Great Emu War, like Adam said,
how drunk are these guys that are just
the emu hunters
gunning down emus? Yeah,
I'd be getting loaded, dude. It sounds like the most fun job ever.
Lit up, dude.
Yeah, and they can't kill anything. What a disappointment. They thought they were going to be racking thousands of emus, and they got like 200. So,
congratulations.
Pink, how would you cook an emu?
Dude, I don't know, but I'm thinking we got to go. Like, is this war still on? Like, can we get in?
As far as I'm concerned, the war has never ended. It's still waging, and I'm ready to enlist. I'll go to Australia.
So do we do like a Past The Barb trip to just like roll some emus?
Yeah, if we have any Australian listeners, which I know we don't, but maybe, if we could kind of facilitate a trip, a hosted travel for an emu slaughter.
Little harvest mission.
Yeah. That would be awesome, dude.
I would pay top dollar to see Hahner walking across the prairie with an emu over his shoulder.
Be sick, dude. Talk about a cool pile pick. Here's 65 emus.
Oh my God. Could you imagine? Just
look at all the college kids from North Dakota and Bemidji around Goose Opener, and you're like, yeah, but check out my emus.
Forget getting the gold on the AK. I got an emu. An actual emu.
Dude, I got 100-round drum and a bunch of emus to kill.
Yeah. No, they were big fans of that. But that day as a whole was just unbelievable. And then at the end of it, Witt had the Winter Classics is the next day, and Biz is on TNT doing the pregame and everything. So he wasn't going to the Winter Classic. He had to fly out. Well, Biz got hammered. So Biz looks at a camera guy and is like, I need to get to the airport. And takes one of their camera guys and goes, drive me. And then Waldo had to drive them back to the ramp.
Yeah, I had to drive him back to the ramp, and it was just a catastrophe of him on the phone the entire time, screaming at people and getting screamed at because he had already missed like a flight because he was too drunk to look at his phone and be like, "Oh yeah, it's probably time to leave."
And just having an absolute riot.
And how does that conversation? How does that conversation go? Like, he's supposed to be on a flight back to like do the pregame for like the Winter Classic, and he's like, "Nah, dude, I'm getting smashed. I'm ice fishing in Minnesota," and they're like, "What the fuck?"
That's literally what he told all of them like 5 times as he was getting.
But so what? He what?
Exactly. Yeah.
Old person who was on the phone
who gives a fuck?
Itch. And that he was stuck, and there was a tow truck getting him. That's why it was so loud. But really, he was in the middle of a side-by-side as I'm ripping him across the lake.
Oh, my God.
It sounds amazing. Like,
oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then they tell us that they're having a meetup the next day.
Yeah. So then the next day, they're having this meetup at Cowboy Jack's downtown. And we go to return the machines and everything. Like, we get everything back to Clam. And we're like, yeah, great. Everything went great. Everything worked great. Everything's still working. And Pink and I look at each other and we're like, I mean, we might as well go check this out. Because I think Griff had a guy trip or was hanging with his girlfriend. And then Waldo had to get back to Anna, too.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, we'll swing down to this place. So we go down to Cowboy Jack's in downtown Minneapolis, and we literally get down there and park, and there's a line for like 2 blocks.
Yeah, there's like a couple hundred people waiting to get in, and it's like minus 15 outside.
Yeah, mind you, remember the Winter Classic last year? It was literally negative 15. It was like one of the coldest days of the year. It was freezing. Mm-hmm. So Pink and I like just called Donnie, and we're like, hey, man, we came to like swing by, but like this line is mega long. And he's like, oh, just walk to the front. And one of like probably top 5 cool moment of my life just felt like was me and Pink walking past literally everyone, getting to the bouncer, them like looking at us like, what are you doing? And Donnie popping up and being like, yo, they're with us. And they immediately are like, oh, you're with Barstool. And they just opened the side door for us and just let us in.
And we just fucking walked in. Yeah, that was sick.
So then we go up to their meetup area. Mind you, this line doesn't only extend outside, it extends inside all the way up to the second floor of Cowboy Jack's where they're having their meetup.
And there's like, I mean, how many people are in this bar? It's like a multi-level bar too. Like,
yeah, right before the Winter Classic. There's like, I don't know, there's got to be 500 plus in there. I don't even know.
Way more than that, dude. It was like 3 floors, isn't it?
Yeah, it was packed to the max.
Yeah.
And so Donnie just takes us right up there, and like we get to the edge of like, you know, they have like the gated off, roped off area basically for them that they're letting people in. And like I think Whitney sees us in the middle of taking pictures and just looks at me and Pinkalla and's like, boys, get in here. And like pulls open the barrier, letting us in. And that was also a very cool moment.
Yeah, dude, it was sick. And like, yeah, they had like a pretty stacked line of people like just trying to like take pics of them. But their meetup is like, I mean, we've gone to like our buddies' meetups and stuff too. This was like, I mean, these dudes, they like are just dishing shots to people in line and shit. Like, it was awesome. Like, you know, everyone. So these guys are like blackout because they're doing shots of Pink Whitney with like every single person that comes by.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how they do their meetups because they have the Pink Whitney that obviously named after Whit. I don't know how they do it because they have it there and everybody wants to do a shot with them. Like, that's the thing.
And they just do it.
And they just do it.
They have ones that are just like pink lemonade and not actually alcohol or something.
Dude, they're not though.
They're not though. We watched them pouring it out of the bottles and we were drinking out of the same bottles with them.
Their line for the meetup just goes by a table. And there was just like a guy that had to have been like their intern there, and his job was just to pour shots. So he's just like pouring shot glasses of Pink Whitney on this table, and everybody in line is just ripping free shots. And then they get up there and they want to hammer them with the boys too.
I will
so
say
what,
that
just
they're not.
Slap that bitch in the face and just keep on going.
Yeah, they are not full shots. They're like the little, you know, like the little cough medicine. Like,
well, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But they're doing like 100 of them.
But like, yeah, but it was, and then so we're just chilling up there with like their crew while they're doing their meetup thing, and like there were people coming because like the chick from like the Bachelorette was like there and shit.
Yeah, all of a sudden we were on the Bachelorette.
Like there was like all kind of people showing up to this thing, dude. It was crazy.
Yeah, we're just standing in line, and all of a sudden there's more cameras that show up, and we're like, what the heck? And they're like, I don't know where these are from. And yeah, the Bachelorette rolls in.
And the funniest part of the whole goddamn thing was they didn't even know who that, like, I think it was supposed to be like a big deal that they were like there and all this shit, and none of the guys from Chiclets even knew who the fuck they were.
No, they had no idea. So we're just sitting there chilling with them, and then there's, I don't know, it's like 4 or something, and the meetup ends, so they just gate the whole area off, and then we're just chilling there chatting with all of them, and Whit and Grinelli are talking to me and Pink, and they're just like, what are you guys doing tonight? And we're like, I don't know, probably just gonna, you know, sit here, maybe watch the game and go home, or just go home, whatever. And they just look at us, and they're like, why don't you just come to the game with us? And me and Pink like looked at each other, and we're like, I guess why don't we?
Yeah, that sounds great. Let's do that.
Sounds awesome. So they bring over their like manager agent, and she just comes over and she's like, yeah, what's your guys' names? Yep, what's your phone number? And we just suddenly have tickets to like the 8th row of the Winter Classic.
Sure.
Which are like $500 tickets.
Like unreal seats. And they were just like, yeah, we'll just text them to you. Sick. Thank you.
Yep.
So then, Pink and I went to the Winter Classic, and I mean, the Wild got crushed, but it was sick.
And yeah, because it was like a really sick sporting event, and they had like the whole Team USA there and shit. Like that was dope. they were like, you know, it was right before the Olympics. So they were like showing, you know, all the whole team, introducing everybody that was going to the Olympics and stuff. And then like we roll in and there's a concert going on. I don't even remember who played, to be honest. Thomas Rhett. And our seats are like right there, like literally 10th row Thomas Rhett concert when we walk in, and then we watched Winter Classic. But it was so goddamn cold. Like literally there's beers just like exploding in cup holders.
Like yeah, everywhere. I think we each went and tried to grab one and we couldn't even finish it by the time it slushed up.
Yeah, but that was wicked. And like, it was funny because all the guys from the Chiclets, they were all wearing all the ice armor suits that we gave them the day before at the game.
Yeah. They were like, this is the best.
Yeah. Yeah, that was sick.
But yeah, no, that was the that was basically the events of the Barstool weekend, and it all happened in like 4 days, and that's why I wasn't able to get a video out that Thursday, because all of a sudden we were driving to Clam and picking up machines and just all this stuff going on. But God, that is such a great tidbit.
How many Christmas albums?
Somebody else needs to lead off with a guess here first.
No, Adam, we can't change the order.
Sorry, dude.
Well, we're not changing the order every time. I feel like we would go with
no, it's locked in, unfortunately.
Oh God, so I have to lead it off. I'm gonna go. I feel like this is gonna be way higher than I expect it to be. I'm gonna go with 6.
Bart is going with 6 Christmas albums for
just
the
firing them out.
Christmas album count? Like, does he have a Christmas mixtape? Does that also count?
These are just albums that you can. No, I mean they're albums, mixtapes. They're related to Christmas. And
this is something you'd turn on when the family's sitting around the fire.
Absolutely,
yes.
And I mean, I think
with your grandmother,
for the kids, really.
Yeah, and you got the cookies out for Santa Claus.
Yeah, I'll stick with 6.
Big brr is playing over the surround sound.
Sure. So Bart is going with 6 Christmas albums for Gucci Mane.
I'm gonna go 2.
Will is gonna go with 2 Christmas albums for Gucci Mane. And listen, boys, don't be afraid to you know, if you're gonna say the same answer, then you got to say the same answer. But I'm not telling you to. I'm not telling you not to.
Yeah, I think I'm going with 4. I think he was gonna make 6, but he backed off, so he stayed at 4.
Okay.
It is going to be.
Ooh.
I'm trying to think how old he is now.
I mean, he's been in the game at least 18 years now.
He is the East Atlanta Santa.
East Atlanta Santa is another album name.
This is going to be some outrageously high number, isn't it? It's going to be like 25.
I'm going to say 9.
9. Okay.
9.
Now
that felt like it was an annual thing when he started doing it.
Yeah, so the answer is actually 5. So I had a 6 from Bart.
Idiot.
I had a 6 from Bart and I had a 4 from Ryan. So we're gonna each award them a quarter of a point.
I'll take that 2-5.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
Sick.
All right. Right back in it, baby.
You're crawling like a snail.
5 Christmas albums. Any repeat songs, or are they all new ones?
So I can name the albums quickly. We have So Icy Christmas, East Atlanta Santa 1, 2, and 3, and the return of East Atlanta Santa.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Damn.
He's putting in that work. That's it. I mean,
doing the Lord of the Rings.
Just thinking of like Home Alone.
She loves Christmas.
Okay, go ahead, Will.
Question number. So the world's tallest Christmas tree, and it's actually from Oklahoma, stands how tall? And I will say that it is 75% taller than the Rockefeller Christmas tree in New York. But how tall is?
Are we going feet here?
The world's tallest Christmas tree in feet. Yes.
Metric.
I was going to say meters, but
feet.
Centimeters.
1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, blue foot.
245.
Jesus.
Bart is 245. That's a
good sized tree, though.
Wait, did you say 75% is big or 75% bigger?
It is 75% bigger than the famous Rockefeller tree.
Okay, yeah, that's a big tree, but I'll stick by it.
You're gonna stick with 245.
No, I probably shouldn't. But
No, you locked it in.
Your hand is off the chess piece. You're locked in.
I'm sorry.
I don't think
I'll
they're
take the
cutting
high
one
numbers
out of the redwoods here, but all right.
I'm gonna go 315 feet.
Holy!
You went bigger than me. Shut the fuck up! Everyone's making fun of me. Stolski goes bigger.
These are good sized trees, boys.
315 foot tall.
That's taller than a fucking football field.
You're damn right it is.
Biggest in the world. All right.
World's tallest Christmas.
You could lay it down in U.S. Bank Stadium.
The dinosaurs didn't even see one that big.
I mean, I don't know what they're finding as a Christmas tree. You know what I mean?
No, me either. But I'm gonna lock it in at 315.
That's the tough part. I mean, you could answer high, you could answer low. What do we got, Ryan?
I'm going. I think I'm going 125.
125 for Ryan.
Pussy tree.
God, I'm not even gonna be close.
No, you're
The
not.
trunk on this thing is unreal.
Gotta be
Thick.
I'm gonna go a nice round number of 150.
Sliding in there.
I think Cody's gonna get it. That seems more.
So the correct answer is 140 feet. So we have 25 and Cody with 150. And so Cody will be awarded the half point.
Son of a.
And the victory once again.
What was I thinking with 315? That is so.
Did you take a biology class? Not even a biology class. Did you make it past the fifth grade? We learned this. Remember the charts with the Empire State Building on it?
Also, you've seen trees, right?
Right? Like
no, it's a wasteland out here, dude.
True, there's not much.
Oh my gosh, a sagebrush.
Yeah,
gotta be at least 10 times that size.
So you just put ornaments on bushes out there, or what's the specs on that?
I need to pull it together. That was
holy.
Well, I mean, I thought I was really tall on the 240 mark, and then you just
came out of my mouth.
What else do you think is that big? I mean, I'm going to burst your bubble here, but it's not 300 and something feet.
All right, next question. What is his name?
Literally the thumbnail image of the article you texted us just made me start laughing.
His name is Lawn Chair Larry. Okay, and this guy, Larry Walters. All he ever wanted to be was a fighter pilot in the Air Force, but he had bad eyesight. Okay. And Larry couldn't fly planes. So Larry gets this idea and he gets a bunch of military grade weather balloons. Okay. He forges some signature to get him. He gets like 45 of them. Then he rents a massive helium tank, which I imagine is like a big propane tank from the fucking Hobby Lobby or whatever. And he fills up all these balloons. Ties him to his lawn chair because he wants to fly. And he just wanted to fly around, and he had a pellet gun with him. And when he wanted to come down, he was going to start shooting the balloons so he could softly land. Well,
guy's a fucking genius.
Larry fires it up. He gets up to 16,000 feet in a lawn chair. Okay. A lawn chair with helium-filled weather balloons. He gets up. And he starts drifting into airspace over an airport.
Where was this?
This was in California. Okay. He starts drifting into airspace, and he can't control it. He's got no rudder. He can't do anything.
Just going with the wind.
Oh
baby.
My god!
He gets on his radio. He's got a radio with him. I don't know how he has power. I didn't get into it that far, but he's got a radio. He gets on comms. He explains what's going on. He starts shooting his balloons with the pellet gun. He drops the pellet gun. Okay.
For the love of God.
Luckily for Larry, he's on the descent. Okay. So he comes down. He gets tangled in a power line 25 feet up in the air. Okay. He falls out of his chair, lands, survives, is immediately arrested because you can't do that, immediately arrested, gets a fine of initially $4,000, appeals down to $1,000, And unfortunately, the story has a very sad ending. Larry gets a little bit of fame after this. He goes on the Letterman show. He kind of gets to parade around. After that, he kind of disappears. He had to quit his job that he had. Did something. I don't know what it was. Anyways, Larry, at the age of 45, ends up killing himself. Rest in peace, the lawn chair Larry. But his chair, the lawn chair, is now in the Smithsonian. So
no way, really?
That's lawn chair Larry. It's worth looking it up just to see the picture of him because it's unbelievable.
The pictures. This is like up after dark.
It is literally up. It is literally up. Like if you imagine this image of balloons and someone in the air and you think of up, that is it. Like that's it. Literally it.
Except he just starts rifling pellets up into the balloons.
He said he first had the idea when he was 13 years old. So this was a lifelong dream for Larry that came true. And bummer how he ended up. But
dude, what are your thoughts if you're 16,000 feet in the air going, shit, I got to get down.
We're doing it. But the moment he drops that pellet gun has to be like, fuck.
Wow.
Could you imagine?
We're going to the moon.
What if you were on land by where that thing landed? Just all of a sudden, terminal velocity pellet gun smashes down right next to you.
He strategically shot his balloons as well to keep it balanced. You know, I mean, this was well thought out. Larry,
You had a plan.
He's an aviator.
I mean, that drawing when he was in kindergarten of balloons and a chair of a guy riding, spot on. The man should have been an engineer. For
the guy, rest in peace to lawn chair Larry. So follow your dreams, kids.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, always follow your dreams, kids. You could be like lawn chair Larry. Just don't break federal air laws.
Don't go into protected airspace.
Or at least put a strap on your pellet gun, for God's sake.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Bring 2 pellet guns.
Bring 2 pellet guns.
Moral of the story here.
Backup pellet gun. Maybe a knife.